Yesterday, Eddie Ray Ruth was convicted of killing Chris Kyle and Chad Littlefield. Now, Chris Kyle is the person that American Sniper was based on. Now, I got no love for Chris Kyle, but obviously it was horrible that he was killed, and I'm very happy with the result of the trial. Eddie Ray Ruth will not be getting a death sentence, but he will be getting life without parole. Now, why do I think it was the right decision, and what do I think was the real issue at hand? Well, they argued that he was legally insane. I don't think that's true. Now, first defense attorney said Ruth, who had been prescribed antipsychotic medication often used for schizophrenia, believed the men planned to kill him. Well, that's what the defense says. Eddie Ray Ruth said after the killings, when he was sitting in his truck and the cops were already on the scene, he said, "I don't know if I'm going insane. Is this about hell walking on earth right now?" And then later he tried to get away in Chris Kyle's truck. So obviously he's got serious mental issues, but does he know right from wrong? That's the legal standard on whether you're insane. Well, here's another part of the Associated Press story on this. While trial testimony and evidence often included Ruth making odd statements and referring to insanity, he also confessed several times, apologized for the crimes, and tried to evade police after the crime. Well, that clearly shows that he knew the difference between right and wrong. I think the guy's got serious mental issues. That's why I don't think an execution makes sense. Plus, I'm against the death penalty. But I'm glad that he's going to get life sentence without parole. Now, I think the real tragedy here was that they knew how crazy he was before the shootings. They went to a shooting range. Chris Kyle even texted Littlefield, before the shooting obviously, and said that Ruth was, quote, straight up nuts. Now, I know Chris Kyle's whole life was spent around guns and weaponry, and I know a lot of people in this country are in favor of gun rights and think that you should have guns under any and all circumstances. But even you thought he was crazy. Don't go to a shooting range with him. Don't put a gun in his hand. So, again, I got no interest in defending Chris Kyle here, but I want to go back in time and say, Chris, go to a bowling alley. Don't go to a shooting range. Go to a movie. Now, Ruth was a veteran, and Chris Kyle in this case was trying to help him. He was doing a really good act in this case, right? And so help him in a different way, man, but don't put a gun in a guy's hand that you know is nuts. And that's the thing about this whole country. We're all nuts now. We're nuts for guns. It doesn't matter. Even if we think the guy is crazy, we'll hand him a weapon. This is outside the bounds of reason, and the whole country has lost its mind on this issue of gun control.